Hi there, this is Sanlumiere, and welcome to a new series of videos. You may notice I keep going through new series of videos without actually really progressing them, and it's because they're not getting the traction that I would hope. Um, so Let's Plays, for example, might be lucky to get a handful of views. I mean, that would be high for them right now. The reason for that, of course, could be I'm picking the wrong game. Not that interesting as a Let's Player. That's always a possibility, and I'm willing to accept that as a deficiency of the video content I put up. Um, but the early impression videos seem to be doing quite well, comparatively speaking. I mean, we're not in the thousands. We're aiming for hundreds. But as a relatively unknown streamer and record video content producer, I am certainly not opposed to getting the views where I can and looking for some kind of traction. And to that end, we'll try a new series. This particular series is going to focus on something I'm a bit of an expert in terms of a large history of playing collectible card games and strategy games, and it will be aimed at taking an element of the game, breaking it down, um, and offering strategic advice for players to get better, basically. So to that goal, this is obviously Hearthstone. I may not be limited to Hearthstone. We may be doing some Hearthstone. We may do some Magic the Gathering, which I've played since '94. We might be doing some real-time strategy games, which I am not the greatest at, but I certainly understand the concepts of them well enough to provide some guidance that might be of assistance to people. Um, I have a national championship in card gaming from the early 2000s, not in either, obviously not Hearthstone or Magic, but by a game in a game made by a company named Decipher, which owns the Star Wars license at the time. Um, and in Hearthstone, I reached above rank 5 a couple of times, early seasons, and I got to that point and I figured out that there was hours upon hours of grinding necessary to get past level 5 and reach legendary, which I simply do not have the time to do. And the players above it, at that level or above, are pretty solid. So there was certainly none of this. I'll just win 25 straight and get it done in 4 hours. None of that was going to happen. So I fought through some levels and I did well. I was better than breaking even, but the time constraints and commitments were going to be such that there was just no way I was going to do it. So to that end, I did change my strategy a little bit. So my focus now is much more on the fireside tournaments, the in-person tournaments, um, and getting the and as far as that is concerned, getting the card back every month. Pretty low goal, I will admit, but building tournament decks is proven to be a totally different experience. One, because one of your decks gets cancelled out by your opponent at the beginning of the match, and then you get to play three different matches, different decks through three different matches, and you get some very interesting interactions. And the deck building strategies are a little different. But I still do ladder, occasionally, and I still do understand the laddering process and what kind of decks you're going to run into. And I'm aware pretty uh, consistently what those top performing decks might be. Um, so the goal of this particular video today will be to go through Patron Warrior. So we'll talk through the deck real quick, and then we'll play a handful of games, probably three, on ladder, because I do want to reach the point where I get my card back, and we'll talk through any possible replacements, and if any occur to us, any particular improvements we might make to the deck also. Um, with that said, let's quickly go through Patron Warrior. So Patron Warrior, unlike other warrior decks, is actually not a particularly expensive deck to build. For those with a pretty small collection, you're looking at getting some expansions of the latest raid to get hold of the Grim Patron, namesake of the deck, and Emperor Thaurissan, who I think is worth getting to put in this deck. Grommash is... I would hate to say that he's replaceable because um, his almost guaranteed 10 damage on the charge late game is very difficult to replace. However, if you do not have Grommash and you would like to try this deck, you could certainly drop him. You might look, if you have him as one of your legendaries, you might look at someone like Dr. Boom or another one of those role filler game enders to put at the top of this curve. They won't be Grommash, but you could certainly pick one of the more powerful legendaries and go that way. If you don't have that at all, then you would probably want to double up on a controlling element somewhere earlier in this list. I don't think I would pick Unstable Ghoul to be a 2-off, but you might look at Dread Corsair or Sludge Belcher to try and slow that game down a little bit and then put yourself 100% on the Grim Patron combo. Everything else in the deck is either a standard rare or that a lot of people should have. Armorsmith you should certainly have if you ever want to play Warrior. Frothing Berserker you could certainly argue is not a rare most people would have, but again, he's a replaceable element. He's another alternate win condition. You could look for something that doesn't rely on this damage taking, because that's what pushes that guy over the edge, but something a little more potent to fit into this 3 or 4 slot. And you can go 3 or 4 with this to make him, to do a replacement on him. But if you don't have a problem spending a couple hundred dust on building stuff, then he would certainly be worth it, because it does make the deck a little more consistent. Sludge Belcher, as you know, probably know, comes from Nax Ramus, so his rare designation is kind of misleading. And that's about it. So everything else is based on doing damage to all minions, but specifically the capability of dealing damage for value to your own minion, and then combining it with this guy right here. So the combo is Warsong Commander, a Grim Patron, and anything that deals damage. So about nine manas for an ideal combo. You could certainly get away with Inner Rage, being able to do it on 8, of course. You can also do it with where's it gone? 4 Deathbite. You could do it with a second attack of Deathbite. Couple of options, but the goal is, of course, get some damage on this guy while he has haste. He creates a version of himself. They all get to swing, and they can keep doing that until the board is clear or whatever else is going on, and that's your win condition. And I have had a lot of success making this work. So that's the deck. That's what we're going to play. We're going to go ahead and go do a couple of ladder matches. Again, the competition against me will not be super strong, but we'll play the lines as if they are, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully we'll get to do this combo a few times. See, back to 20. Just so you know, if you ever wonder, if you get to 20 with 2 stars filled, you will always go back to 23 with a star. Just something I've learned after the months of not caring too much about I've had the laddering. Anyway, here's my Patron Warrior. Let's see what we get. You can purchase additional packs of cards from the shop. Helpful tip there. Okay, here's my worthy opponent. A Jaina deck. Alright. So So we've got some good cards here. Strangely, I don't see myself needing to trade up into anything, so we're actually going to dump that. And we're going to dump that because it's a bit of a later game card. I have no problem holding the Deathbite though, because it's a good removal spell, and we have an Unstable Ghoul to slow them down. That's better. That's much better. So my likelihood is that I will coin in the Armorsmith. Because I have a turn 2 play already, then a turn 3 play, then a turn 4 play if I want to do it that way. So I did not ruin my curve at all by using the coin there. So we'll see what this person does. Unstable Portal. Alright. If they play it now, they certainly didn't get a particularly good card. Okay. Ah, interesting. So, no pressure on the board. No particular reason not to play the Loot Hoarder. If they had something in play like a Snow Chugger, I would certainly put this guy down, but that's not the case. So we'll just go ahead and get our card draw mechanic into play. Not the best card draw mechanic, but a card draw mechanic. If I get an Acolyte of Pain, that'll be better. Second Unstable Portal. Alright. So they're certainly loading up their hand with stuff. See, I probably would have shot this guy for 1 and saved the Unstable Portal, but, you know, whatever. So, for mana efficiency, we certainly want to go ahead and play a Frothing Berserker. That will cause an immediate response, I would guess. Especially since if they see this and they are aware of what we're trying to do, that would be a devastating card for them to leave in play. So we're just going to go ahead and attack, because why not? And then put that guy into play. Now they can't afford to deal damage to either of these two without killing this first. I would not be shocked to see this take a fireball. Yep, there we go. So I get myself some armor. And that took their turn, which is entirely fine. So here, again, for mana efficiency reasons, there's a good reason to want to put the Deathbite into play here. But he has nothing to kill. He has 2 Unstable Portal cards, which he hasn't played yet, which means they could be 6 cost cards. So... yeah, I think Deathbite's going to be the way I go. The reason for that is because I'm planning for a future turn where if he does play something, I get to Unstable Ghoul and Frothing Berserker with a second attack on the Deathbite, which will trigger him. We'll see where this goes. Okay, that's interesting. It indicates... that must have been his Unstable Portal card. Yeah, that certainly did not go the way he was hoping, I wouldn't think. So, everything that I talked about before is still true. This is kind of what I was expecting him to be doing. We're going to take a little bit of... well, let's see, what are we going to do here? So this guy doesn't really do anything anymore. This guy's got more power. So we're going to go ahead and do the play I talked about. So we're going to go Unstable, Frothing. We're going to go ahead and kill this guy. Now I could have left this guy here, the Unstable Ghoul, without taking that point of damage. But there's a very good reason I didn't. The primary reason is because it wasn't going to save him if I left him at 3, because he would have had a 4/4 left anyway. I wanted to get the extra armor, and I also wanted to get the extra attack, making this a must answer while at the same time making this a roadblock, which isn't impacted because it's not a 1, so he can't shoot it. He has to spend a spell on it or swing into it. Unfortunately, we have not seen our Grim Patron for that interaction yet. We are on the turn where that could matter. Because next turn, we would have Grim Patron plus a Whirlwind here, so... Um, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what this guy's going to be able to do. Yeah, he has to do that. So, and he still can't spend 2 just to kill that guy. So he has to spend a spell on it, which is fine. Yep. Not a particularly helpful card. So... yeah, I think getting to reduce 4 of my cards cost is relevant. And it'll draw an immediate reaction, of course. Probably a swing in with 4 and then a shoot for 1, leaving him 5 mana to do something else. I have not played a weapon, so he may swing into it with this guy. In hopes. Nope, he's going to do what I thought. Yeah, okay.
Safety restrictions offline. Harvesting servos engaged.
Interesting. So, what do I want to do here?
What now?
Only 1 card, but there's only 1 cost. The cantrips for something and then gives me a chance to draw something better. That's better. So if I Whirlwind now... yeah, Whirlwind doesn't really do much for me. I'll do this. This. Ah! Now that's kind of interesting, isn't it? So I should hopefully get 2 points, 2 cards out of this guy.
You require my assistance?
Kind of nasty. He's going to ignore that, is he? Interesting. Very interesting. Clearly all about drawing cards right now. So we can do 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26. But I'll have a Sludge Belcher in play. So there was some argument there for putting the Sludge Belcher on the other side of the Acolyte to force him to have to attack into the Acolyte. In order to, deal damage to this Acolyte. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he realizes he's potentially capable of just being dead here. That's annoying. But you didn't get to... well, that's so annoying. Okay. So if I... So I play him, he gets up to 10.
Hello.
14. I'm 1 point or 2 points short.
Will tear you apart. My magic will tear you apart.
Yeah, unfortunately, they never drew the cards we really needed, so we're gonna lose this one, but almost got him. Right, on to the next game. See if we can actually get our Grim Patron combo, which would have been quite good in that game. Yes, I know I can't lose stars. Okay, let's try again. So yeah, so in that game, obviously, he ended up simply just being able to not see the combo, really. Had he have seen the combo, I think that would have gone quite differently. And even then, we still had the opportunity with Grommash, had we gotten a one more power +1 or +2 kind of card going on, we would have still been able to finish the game and take the win there. Which does point out why Grommash is actually quite important to the deck. Alright. This is not great. Kind of have to do that though, because this is the point of why we're playing the deck. And I will keep a sub-optimal hand in order to guarantee the chances of actually getting this guy. Wow, our draws have been amazing though, so that's good. Playing against a Bianca. A little less of a douche than our former opponent.
I hope you like my invention.
That's fine. And obviously we're going to offer up the trade, so we go card draw for card draw here. So she can get good value by swinging into this. She could have used hero power also. But she elected not to, which is entirely fine. So, the more fun play to do here is Acolyte of Pain, because it keeps us on curve. We don't have another 2-drop, so we would be Fiery War Axing and Armoring up the next turn, which isn't super exciting. This keeps us on curve, which puts us into Deathbite or whatever on the following turn. So, the optimal play, however, will be to play the Fiery War Axe and kill that thing.
What now?
I think she will kill the Acolyte of Pain. Either with Wrath or she'll attack into it with her hero power and her 2-1 or 2-2. Nope, no wrath. And no attack on him either. That is interesting. Huh. So, to reduce damage, because it looks like it's her goal is just to attack, I could certainly play the Fiery War Axe and Shield Up, which allows me to kill the taunt for free. Or I can play Despite and kill the taunter that way, and then have that up to deal 1 point of damage to everything the following turn. There's also the possibility that she has a slime, because her deck's pretty generic. Yeah, we'll do that because we get this value as well. As much as it's part of my combo, I'm actually going to do this. To draw 2 cards. And clear the board. Leaving up a taunter in the way of her hero power, which may be something she was tempted by, forces her into a swipe on this to kill it, or a wrath to kill it. Okay, so she's all in on the taunt plan, which is not unusual. Not at this level, anyway. So, here's an interesting choice. I can Grim Patron, swing, kill this guy, deal a point of damage to this, and make an extra Grim Patron. Which is what I'm going to do. The other line is that I can swing in, deal the points of damage, play a second Despite, or the Sludge Belcher. Probably the Sludge Belcher. So with that in mind, that means that the best play, for sure, is Grim Patron into this attack. And then attack. So she can certainly wrath one of these out of the way, which would not be a terrible idea. Because clearly it can go out of control if I had a Whirlwind, for example, that before. And it can just keep getting worse from there. She could be trying to do some kind of taunt plan into her own combo, which is possible. Not likely at this level of the ladder, but certainly possible. That would explain the number of taunts. Which means that her goal is to get to 9 without dying, and then try and kill me with 1 hit. With that in mind, of course, we're going to try and keep ourselves pretty well healed up going forward. Next turn we'll probably Despite plus Shield Up, for example. No real reason to put Thaurissan into play right now, especially since she has to deal with this 9 points of damage on board. And apparently she doesn't have anything to do anything about this 9 points of damage on board. That's a good card. Still not that worried about my life totals, so instead we'll attack with these. Put another Despite into play. Attack with that. And draw 3. Not thrilling. What it does do, however, is make Emperor much, much stronger on turn 8. Which is about when I'm planning to play him. Okay, she's given up. So, yeah. I don't know why people do that. They should just, concede the game instead of disconnecting, because disconnecting does nothing for them. Alright, we're going to do one more match with Grim Patron. So, it is worth noting that I did not get the combo with Grim Patron there, but, well, sort of. I mean, the Deathbite, Death Rattle ability is certainly part of the way to abuse that card. But you can imagine, had I have had the Haste guy, and the Grim Patrons, I would have been able to do an awful lot of damage awfully fast. This is a fantastic hand, so we will keep this. Again, another 2-drop, it'll be better. But even still, Armorsmith into Armor into Acolyte of Pain is entirely reasonable. Warlock. That in mind, we'll stick to the plan. Whirlwind could be very, very good here. I'm not sure what this guy is doing. That's a much better turn to play. So we will go ahead and do that, do that, do that. Because gaining armor is good for us. I could have attacked with the Armorsmith first to give me an armor to lose for swinging into the Voidwalker. But the reason I didn't is because I actually do want my warrior to be damaged because it increases the number of cards I can draw. So we do have an interesting choice here. This Whirlwind's going to gain value. It's going to get better. But it gives me the opportunity to do some real work to the board. That guy becomes a real nuisance real fast because he doesn't have very big minions. Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to actually waste this card right here. We don't really want to, but we will. Not exactly the play I wanted to do. There were lines I was hoping to play into later in the game. Certainly the Grim Patron line, but anything, yeah. So anything that would have made this a more efficient play. Okay, he's dark bombing, which is not going to help him. Actually, that's a really bad play. Okay, so we get an obvious play this turn, so that's good. I could play Acolyte of Pain. But Acolyte of Pain into the second attack of a Deathbite is just better. And then obviously getting to play this guy for free is pretty relevant. So, first off, not going to be able to deal any more damage to this guy, so we're just going to attack with him. I'm going to play this, and then swing for 4. He likely does have a way of killing this. It could be Implosion. Mortal Coil. So that was pretty predictable. Hellfire, that's fine. He's dealing himself significant damage, and that's entirely fine by me. Actually, his plan to deal damage to things is shockingly in line with what I want to do. So, you know, unfortunately, he's not aware of that, but that is the pain he is putting himself under. Obviously, we are going to play this first to take the 1 point of damage. I'll go ahead and armor up as well, and we're going to swing. Because I don't care what I draw. Yeah, certainly not. I had no intention of playing the card I drew regardless. Armoring up was always going to be the play, so I did it in advance just because, why not? The more ideal line of play, of course, is to do it afterwards, but... Okay. So... Not a thrilling turn for me. But we are going to draw a card. Yeah, that's fine. So this actually worked out well. It gave me the 2-drop, which actually I will play this turn. So we're going to go that, and then we're going to kill that guy, and then we're going to swing for the 1, because it's the position I'm in. Again, not really seeing much of Grim Patron here. I mean, it's kind of what the namesake of the deck is. He could have another AoE damage ability, could have Implosion, where he might want to try and kill this off immediately and then leave himself with 4 imps if he's really lucky. It's probably his best chance of survival anyway. He certainly can't tap. Okay. That's fine. And that's just a bad card. What an anemic set of draws. Well, I'm not going to play this guy, because there's absolutely no reason to. Not going to play that because I can't. I'd like to get a card off of this guy, but there's nothing to deal damage to it with. So I'm literally going to be in a attack and do nothing roll. Which is... I mean, we're going to win, but I was hoping to do something a little more exciting with my games here. What you got for me? You don't want to deal damage to either of these if you can avoid it. Illidan. Sure. That's kind of nasty. So we're going to play this guy. We're going to play this guy. He has charge. We are now going to swing. Does it really matter which one? Not really. We'll do that one. We'll destroy this guy. I could have swung into that with this guy to draw another card, and put 1 attack on him, so I'd have lost out on 1 damage and drew 1 card. But I'm really not feeling like we're in a position to worry about it too much, and I'd like to keep that around for, stacking up points of damage. So he drops another 6-drop or an 8-drop. Jiraxis. That's fine. What you gonna do with that? Attacking any of this with it is probably bad. You bet. Again, no way for me to deal damage to these things. Okay, well, I mean, we're going to play the obvious plays. So that guy actually gets charged, doesn't he? Yeah. Okay, so charge dude. Swing, 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 swing. Alright. So now he cannot swing into the Taunter, because otherwise he'll just die. Okay, so he's going to do nothing, is what he's going to do. Okay, that's fine. Alright, now everything's coming up. What's the term? Up Millhouse, I guess, is the term we'll use. Alright. Draw a card. How do I want to do this? Yeah. We'll draw a card. Okay. Just being very bizarre. Yeah, draw another card, I guess. Oh, God. Alright. We'll just end the pain, I guess. Alright. Not exactly sure what I was hoping for out of that match to make it more interesting, but yeah, okay. Cool. That was pretty unimpressive. We'll try one more match. Alright, well, you may have noticed I edited the previous game out of the video. I did win it, by virtue of the fact that I played things for 3 turns and my opponent went to rope 3 turns and then left the game. So not particularly interesting, not something we were all that... Okay. Certainly not something we're that interested in putting on video. So we're going to skip ahead and we're going to... We'll keep all of that, I guess. So it's Garrosh versus Garrosh. So I'm not sure what kind of Garrosh opponent we are facing here. Now that's a good draw. So that means I can play Loot Hoarder into Warsong Commander, or I can play Fiery War Axe. Certainly Fiery War Axe. Yeah, definitely. So my next turn, certainly since we have 2 of these, there's a good possibility we'll play one of them. Yeah, definitely. So we're going to go ahead and put that guy into play, and we're going to end turn because I don't use that weapon unless I have to. So, okay. So he's playing Control Warriors while he's playing, which is fine. So here I can play Loot Hoarder into Armor Up. Yeah, that's probably what I'm actually going to do. Because I don't want to expose this to some kind of situation where he's set up for a brawl and then I face losing both of these when there's no particular reason to. Brawl's still 2 turns away, but no reason to put myself in that position. So... Now, I could have played around Shield Bash by playing in a rage on this guy to make him a 4-2, and then hitting this down to 1, which means he would have had to have... That is a weak card. That is such a weak card. So he's trying to be a Control Warrior. No particular reason to draw cards right now. Well, it kind of is. So I do that and then execute, and then play another one. I get to save my weapon and then armor up. None of this seems exciting. It gives me 3 mana potentially. You know, it gives me 4 mana if I execute to play whatever I draw, so that's probably worth it. Yeah. Nope, not playing that, of course. So we will play that. We'll do that. Do that. Do that. So now his Shield Bash is significantly worse. His Shield Bash can't take out the Warsong Commander anymore. Certainly can take out the Loot Hoarder, but of course, you know, that feels pretty bad. Yeah, not sure. I mean, Sludge Belcher would seem to be the most obvious play in the line that he's been doing. Which would actually, I mean, it would theoretically slow me down. I would lose my weapon. Well, that's a bad play. And that's an even worse play. Alright, so my opponent is not very good. Unfortunately. Okay, so we'll play this first. We'll knock that guy out. Draw a card. Gain an armor. Play a Despite. Swing for 2. So again, his Shield Bash is probably still not worth playing just to get rid of the Armorsmith. And he hasn't got away without going a lot into the investment. Okay, that's fine. He doesn't have the investment capabilities to put 2 cards into trying to kill off this thing. Still not getting the cards I really want, though, am I? Either way, I am totally fine with smacking into that guy. Now, the question is, do I open up this guy? Because at this point, I'm very inefficient on my mana. So what I could do is make this guy significantly more of a threat by opening him up to Shield Bash, which makes him invest a certain amount of his turn into that. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Because next turn, I've got Grommash into that, which I could have saved. I could have gone up to 12 attack or 14 attack or whatever, but I don't, yeah, see. I don't see that being particularly helpful in this situation. The difference in life between 14, 18 and 12, 16. You know, it's just not a difference maker enough, especially since he's likely to shield. So he's trying Grim Patron. Okay. So I can clear out everything. That takes 2. Yeah, so we clear that guy, clear that guy. That guy has 2 points of damage left. Could have another execute. Probably does have another execute. But that's fine. Yeah, so the play that this is weakest against would be execute, which he clearly doesn't have. And that is unbelievably good. So let's give that guy some extra attack. Execute him. Despite. Attack for 10. I think killing that guy is where I want to be. I'm going to keep that around for a patron. So he still needs an execute. And he needs something with 5 toughness, as not to just die. Okay, that's fine. Arcanite Reaper is fine. He's just gonna go face. That's bold. So, what he did is kill himself. He doesn't know that, of course, but that is what he did. So we're going to play that for free because we can. And we're going to do this, give this guy +2, swing for 12, and then kill him off. Alright, so that's Grim Patron. Cool. It is quite a powerful deck. It is not an inexpensive deck to make because of the Grommash, and I think what you saw there might have been a player trying to make Patron Warrior on more of a budget by not running things like Grommash. And Grommash obviously did end up being the difference maker. So, he is definitely important. Very hard to replace, I would say. But anyway, but you can see that there are budget versions of this deck out there that people are trying to make work, and that's entirely cool. That's, I mean, you know, you do what you can with your collection, but investing in trying to find a way of getting your Grommash and just those handful of rares would make the deck a whole lot better. Overall, though, the deck is outside of Grommash fairly easy to put together, quite cheap other supporting cast, especially when you consider that several of the cards come directly from an expansion where you're guaranteed the card, so you're not playing any kind of pack shenanigans or trying to acquire the dust to make that happen. We didn't really get to see the patron side as much. You got to see it from my opponent, so you can imagine how that would work in a deck that's a little bit more refined. But overall, it's a powerful deck. It's very good at laddering. It's actually not too bad in tournament play either. Certainly, it's hard to answer if you aren't built specifically to handle it. And other than that, I think that'll wrap it up. That's the end of the video. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead and like, subscribe, or whatever the social media platform of your choice is recommending. And I will see you next time. Take care, and this was Sanlumiere with a Hearthstone strategy guide video, which I will come up with a better name for at some point. Take care, bye.